So if I'm throwing my trident into the steam cloud, does that mean I'm throwing at disadvantage?
It's had a turn since then, so the steam is now dissipated.
Okay, so this throw will be at advantage then, because
Yes,
it's stunned. That is an 18 to hit.
18 will hit.
Okay. How many? I'm gonna hold off on throwing things. I'm gonna putting some thunder stank on that. That's 9 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then that's all Raazu's got for now.
Then you threw your javelin.
My trident.
Okay, so your trident is now impaled in this thing's armor.
Okay.
And you're staying put there?
Yep.
Okay, it's going to bring us to Adrex.
So where did Adrex appear? Just like right in front of the statue?
That's
Right.
Yeah, you kind of moved back to the same spot you started in this room when you showed up.
Okay. In that case, Adrex shouts, "Why haven't they come through the portal yet?" and runs full force into the statue. Hoping that it takes him back.
Can you repeat that last sentence?
He runs full force into the statue.
Okay. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage and you're knocked prone as you crash into this white dragon statue and fall backwards onto your keister.
And that's Adrex's turn.
I guess it's Red's turn now.
Okay then.
These key points aren't free. I spent it for you.
I'm not too worried about the steam. I'm within. Yeah, I'm close to Raazu. Let's go ahead and.
The steam is dissipated by this
stunned?
point. It's no longer.
Is that what the little?
It's
It's stunned.
Yeah.
It's stunned now. Yeah. So sneak attack applies. Oh my god!
Look at
Can
that.
it just die?
Maybe.
It disintegrates.
We'll see.
I feel like I got a fireball. Only with an ability score bonus and extra D8.
It's the sneakiest
Oh,
attack.
that is some numbers. That is some numbers.
It's only 55 damage.
55 damage. Red, you're the only one who needs to make a dex saving throw. Actually, no, you don't.
Yep.
No, you do not, actually, because
Oh, it's been put out.
Already cold. And there's just a loud clank as the thing's pick falls to the ground, and you no longer see the sparks trying to ignite in the room. And then over the next few tense seconds, there's silence, except for the sound of Adrex repeatedly running into the statue.
Raazu
And
steps
Adrex
forward.
shouts again, "Why haven't they come through the portal?"
Raazu retrieves the trident.
What the I thought I locked you out! Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, what? I thought I locked her out. Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going. Raazu, you were saying?
I retrieve my trident.
With some difficulty you do. You retrieve the trident. The javelins and arrows and anything else you've lobbed at this thing, the hand axe you can wrench free. The javelin, though, loses its head as it comes loose.
Right,
And only with great difficulty do you get this out of the cleave in the thing's armor.
I'm not worried for the immediate thing for those two guys, but we do need to find a way to get back to them quickly.
And you hear... Now, what language are you speaking in? Common?
Right now, common, yes.
You hear a small squeaky voice coming from the north end of the room. And it just kind of, in shaky common, it kind of blurts out, Are they dead? Is it safe?
Raazu turns to where she hears the voice and points her trident. Come on out. Who are you?
And after a few moments, you just see this little red-scaled kobold poke his head up over the edge of whatever this basin is in the north end of the room.
Do you know how to get back up to the upper level?
You see him scan around the room and see just the destruction of the place. What's everybody else doing as he's climbing out?
Wendy's trying to figure out how she would light this thing up again. Like, wait, so it was trying to turn itself back on.
So the little...
Adrex
is what?
Climbing on the statue in an effort to get back through the portal.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to harvest some of that explosive gel from this thing.
What do you intend to contain it in?
A potion bottle.
There's a much larger quantity. There's enough quantity probably to fill probably 2 large jars left inside this thing. And it's right now it's too hot to handle. I mean, even if the thing is no longer lit, but looking inside and examining the inner cavity of it's cooling quickly, but right now you don't have any safe way to work with it. Yeah, this little kobold kind of hoists itself up and over, and he's dressed in the same colors as the dead guards you saw outside.
Raazu, she looks at the kobold and again repeats herself. How do we get back up to the upper level?
And are you holding the keys at all?
Yeah, Raazu has the keys in hand.
As he climbs up and out, you realize it's an Erd, but he's badly wounded. He's got one wing folded across his back, and the other one is just gone. It looks like it's been cleaved off, and very recently at that. And he looks absolutely exhausted. When he comes up and over the side of this basin and lands on the stone, he kind of hits the ground on hands and knees, panting heavily. And he looks up at you, and when he sees the keys that you're holding, you see great relief in his face. He says, "Oh, good. Is Lady Huyan still alive?"
No, she isn't.
Well, at the very least, you have her keys. Do you know of an exit?
What? No,
Where's
I
the
was
door?
hoping that you did.
You don't know how to get out of here.
No, I don't.
I'm
What's
sure we'll
about-
figure it out. They wouldn't
So
put an
what's,
entrance to somewhere that
what's
didn't have
over
an
here?
exit.
Red, when you come over to the basin and look in, it's just emptiness. I don't mean an empty basin. I just mean a black void sinking down into God knows where. And just inside the lip of this thing, a couple feet down, maybe 3 or 4 feet down, you see a couple of climbing spikes hammered into the wall.
Clever guy, what's your name?
He has a name. And it
Kobold
is...
3.
I was going to go with Kobold 3.
Why was I not expecting you to ask him this? Bitterin.
Bitterin? Alright, Bitterin. Why did you come in here not knowing there was an exit?
He looks at the wreckage of the 2 creatures and said that he attempted to lead the creatures here so that Lady Huyan could seal them inside.
How did you get in?
And she motions to the keys that Raazu held. And he tells the story about how Lady Huyan and her people came here recently. Within the past couple of weeks. Were almost immediately assaulted by 3 of these creatures. And one of which they slew, but it exploded, as you know. And killed some of their party. He and Huyan made their way down the hallway. She had enough time to unlock the door and move it aside. She hid behind the door, while Bitterin led the 2 creatures in through the portal. And then Huyan reaffixed the door at that point.
Was there anything odd about Huyan at the time?
Sounds like Huyan didn't value your life very much then if she sent you in here without a way back out.
And he stands up as tall as you've ever seen a kobold stand and says that he was willing to lay his life down for Lady Huyan.
Was Huyan injured when you saw her last?
He says that he saw that she was struck a grievous blow from the thing's pick.
What about the metal plates?
He asks what metal plates.
Birdie turns back and he whispers, "Evil rivet monster." And he nods like sagely. And then he turns.
He asks if you brought any water.
Sure. And Wendy will take out a flask.
Okay. And he drinks greedily from it for a moment.
So Raazu, so Huyan had no wounds on her.
She
when you
was.
saw her last.
She had the one grievous wound, but
Yeah,
no.
She'd been stricken by the thing's pick and was partially caught in the thing's explosion. He says he appeared in this room after activating the portal and had only a scant few seconds before he knew the creatures would be upon him and saw nowhere to hide but this basin. He says he's been clinging there. He doesn't know how long.
So do you, squire? You tend to wear armor?
He advises you that the Lady Huyan does not wear armor.
Raazu is very much pointedly asking these questions to suss out whether or not he knows that she had metal bolted to her.
Make an insight check. Now, are you interrogating him or are you just talking to him?
Just talking to him right
Okay.
now.
Then
I
let's
think
see.
the answer.
Charisma or wisdom insight.
While that's going on, I'm tying a spike to my 50-foot of rope and dropping it down in the hole to see how long it takes to disappear.
And it falls and the rope goes taut. And you don't hear it hit anything.
17 on insight.
17. He has no idea what you're talking about when you talk about these metal spikes. But he talks with such... there's great reverence for him for Huyan. And you get the sense that he is loyal to her. And that would be a very dangerous thing for anybody to be in Qiongzhao's realm, given how they were not on good terms.
Hey, Raazu, can I borrow your torch?
Raazu hands it to Birdie.
Birdie throws the torch in the hole.
Okay? Raazu, mark a torch off your character sheet.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, this torch just disappears, and it briefly illuminates the obsidian sides of this just deep, deep well, and then disappears out of sight.
Birdie, you know what's going to happen, right?
What? I need to make sure it wasn't like a portal or something to take us back.
Adrex, what are you doing on this white dragon statue?
Well, Adrex has moved over here now.
Okay.
What statue is this?
Bear with me 1 second.
He's just whining.
Looking at this one, it has a similar plaque. This one reads Athatos, and it's a great blue dragon. And you just feel a crackling energy in the air around this statue.
Okay. So we got white. This was black for Birdie, right? We got blue over here.
So,
And, yeah, let's keep going around with the surroundings.
And going to the next one, it reads Fescuyash. And there's this vaguely nauseous odor hanging in the air around here. Just this sickness permeates the air as this ancient green dragon statue spreads before you.
Okay. And this one.
And this one, there's a thin curl of smoke around it, and it's supernaturally hot as you stand next to it. The plaque reads Qiongzhao, the ancient red dragon before you.
question.
Yeah.
This one, is that his sire, or was the name different? I don't think.
No, Adrex doesn't recognize the name of that one.
Okay.
So you said that one was the white dragon?
Mm-hmm.
And this was blue?
Black. This is black.
Oh, black, okay. Let me fix that.
Blue.
Then it was blue. Then it was green. And then it was red.
So
Blue.
somebody should go around and make notes of all the names, and then just on the assumption of symmetry, I'm going to investigate this area while everyone else is doing that.
Now, I got all these names from fantasynamegenerators.com, so they're really hard to spell, so I'll just paste them in the Flumph party chat for you.
Jonathan,
How's it?
ancient blue dragon.
Chad. That would be like a copper dragon.
Wendy, after taking greedily from your flask, Bitterl hands it back. He asks if he could bother you for a few crumbs or a scrap of something.
Sure, I'll feed him.
Okay.
Raazu takes the key ring in her hand, walks back over to the white dragon statue,
Okay.
and looks for some kind of keyhole with which to put the keys in.
Do you lift up its tail in the back?
And Raazu does a once around on the.
No, you don't find a keyhole on the statue.
Hey, is the our robot friend didn't come with us, right?
No, Rolf and Student 9 have not come through the portal.
Yeah, that's why Raazu's trying to find a way back. Raazu takes out the white key and taps it against the statue.
There's the sound of bone tapping against the stone of the statue.
I'm going to quiz this kobold on what Huyan was telling us. I'll essentially tell him straight out what happened. Hey, Huyan warned us about this thing. Do you know what she was talking about?
He stops eating for a moment, takes the food to his hand, and he looks at you suspiciously. And he asks you whether you're Huyan's people or Qiangzhao's.
We've known Huyan for a long time.
She never mentioned you.
In this instance, we're Huyan's people. We don't want any ill to come to these children.
At the mention of the children, you see his eyes close for a minute. He says, "Are they all dead? All of them that came with us?" And he describes the two Dragonborn and the Erd, as well as Huyan.
Yeah.
And deal nod.
He says, "Then I have no choice but to trust you. If you're lying to me, I'm dead anyway." He motions back to the well behind him and says that Qiangzhao senses great magic in the basin of the well. That the Lord Master believes that creatures of his bloodline can enter into it as mortals, as men and women, and exit out of it wherever the other side goes, as dragons for true. He had offered this to Hantao and Huyan in order to extend his own reach, and Huyan declined. She didn't want that kind of power, nor was she was afraid that it would place her under her father's control. Bitterl describes Hantao as too stupid to see this fate for himself. He only sees the great power. And now that he has two children, the two princelings could also be cast into the well. But Huyan has spent the past several years amassing magic and learning many things, and amassing power in the east. It was only recently that Hantao caught up with her and she was defeated and dragged back. Qiangzhao was waiting until the portents were correct to cast her into the well.
What about Hantao? Has he not gone through the well yet? Why not?
Hantao, the Lord Master requires to sire more princelings. He would people the world with red dragons, if he could.
Are these statues actually here?
In the center here? Oh, I didn't even realize that there were statues there. Yeah, sure, why not? There are dragon heads coming off the edges of the dais, facing the 5 directions that match the colors that they're pointing to.
I was gonna see if there was keyholes in them, but since you didn't know they were there, I'm
No,
going
there's
to
not
assume
keyholes in them.
That's what we call a hint.
What about the center of the dais?
Nothing special.
Symmetry has failed me. Okay.
But seriously, why have they not come through the portal?
They probably
Why
think
would
we're dead.
Why
They
would
probably don't want to fight anything.
Well, now we're separate.
If it gets scarier over there than they think it is over here, presumably they know how to get here.
So Raazu does know Draconic, so she takes a moment to go around to each of the statues and notes the names.
Okay. And none of the names are known to you except for Kyang Zhao.
All right, so we're not getting out through that well.
So, question: are these statues? Is this room made of the same obsidian that the rest of the place has been?
It is, except for the 5 statues, and I suppose the 5 heads in the center, which feel and look like they're made of the same material, but tinted the various colors of these dragon scales. This one and this one especially feel different to the touch just because the temperature is so different.
So, I'm going to break off a claw of this statue with the little pick that we have.
Okay. Which
and
claw?
stick it in at a front index, I guess.
When you go to manipulate the thing's claw, shocking the hell out of Windy and Bitterol, who are both up by the basin still, a huge pillar of curling flame leaps from the depths, curls up to the top of the domed ceiling, and begins filling up the top half of the room in a bright, brilliant orange light, and great plumes of smoke begin pulling it up. And everybody turns and looks at Birdie.
What'd you do, Birdie?
Try the other one.
Is this ongoing or?
This
Only
takes
for a
this takes a
moment.
good 30-40 seconds for this fire to come up out of the well and start pulling up. Bitterol is looking at this like he has no idea what he's seeing. He is absolutely flummoxed.
Is the fire staying, or is it just like shooting out and then?
It's right now it's kind of congealing up in the top half of the dome of this room, and as you watch over the course of the next minute, it begins to take a shape.
Oh. Oh.
Try another one. Try the white one.
Yeah. Adrex is already pulling and pushing.
Like I'll
Yeah, Birdie, what did
break
you
off.
do?
I'll break off the same one on the other side.
Okay. Well, you haven't broken anything off. You just were grabbing the claw to chip at it, and as you manipulated the claw, this happened.
Okay, well I'll manipulate this claw to chip it off.
Okay.
Make the
Something
same
terrible
motions.
happens to you. Does something terrible happen to you? No, you do so to no avail. And you watch as this pillar of fire exits the well. There's still a brilliant light in the well, but the pillar has now exited into the dome of the room, and the smoke and the flame takes the shape of an ancient red dragon that lays coiled around itself, tail and neck and great torso, as though asleep. And then the eyes of this statue come alight with fire.
Raazu waits for about 30 seconds, watching this thing very intently.
Mm-hmm.
So, do the eyes dim at all, or do they just stay lit?
You've got brilliant lit eyes in the statue. You've got a brilliant orange light coming from the well. And then you've got this giant sleeping red dragon made of smoke and plasma hovering in the dome above your head.
Okay, does Birdie tell the rest of the party how he did that?
I don't know how I did it. Like all I did was touch it.
Touch something else.
I did. It didn't do anything.
Raazu goes up to the green dragon statue and starts fiddling with its claw, like in the area where Birdie
Adrex
was.
is going for the blue one.
And I'm playing with this black one.
So instead of one ancient dragon, you guys want to fight 5 at once?
Yes.
Listen,
Well, they'll mostly kill each other, and then we can kill the last one.
let me real quick read to you my flaw.
Wait,
As you guys manipulate
everything
these
is a perfect
claws,
state of being?
nothing else happens. You do so to no avail.
What about the tail?
Hmm?
What about if I manipulate the tail?
Nothing happens. What are you guys doing over the course of the next couple of minutes?
Adrex is fondling this dragon.
Has that
Adrex
has
trying
that
to
gel
make
cooled enough that I can harvest them yet?
Oh yeah,
There's a
by
giant-
now you can. I mean,
there's
it's, imagine like putting your hand into like if you made like a chocolate pudding the on the stove, and you wait for it for a couple minutes to cool, then kind of putting your hand into it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to scoop this out with your claws, but it's easy. You can work with materials now and get it into glass jars.
All right, I'm grabbing a few.
You get 2
grab
jars
some.
full of this material.
All right.
Hey, Adrex, Birdie, are we missing any types of dragons here? Is this all of them?
You don't see a dragon turtle.
What about the dragon cat?
Well,
What's
these are all...
what's the kobold doing?
Notably red. There's no sign of a silver dragon statue anywhere in this hall.
Well, all of these colors are chromatic dragons, like, right?
Yes.
Silver's not chromatic, is it?
No.
No. The kobold at this point has moved up to the center of the dais where other people seem to be congregating, and he's looking wide-eyed at the spectacle. And you can tell that he has no more answers than you do.
Do we
What about purple? Is that a color for dragons?
It is, but like they live underground.
What about brown?
I honestly don't know if that is a actual chromatic dragon.
So, let me get this straight. You guys have a giant fire dragon appearing above your head in this incredibly dangerous, crazy room. Wendy's looting the bodies, and Red is giving Birdie a quiz. Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you can't see all the crazy shit I'm gonna do with this fire jelly, all of it useless.
Raazu.
So
Raazu looks at the fire, the smoky dragon image up there, and it's still just. You're saying it's hovering over this pit?
No, above the entire room. This room goes into a tall dome above you.
Okay.
And being so illuminated, it goes up a good 50, 60 feet at its highest point. And this ancient dragon is filling up the center of this entire basin.
do we talk to the dragon or what?
It looks like it's curled up in a sleep.
Hello?
Nodal, I
Yeah?
think the PHB has stats for Greek fire. Maybe
Alchemist
it's
fire.
in the DMG.
Maybe alchemist fire, maybe?
Alchemist fire, yes. It's not called Greek fire in this edition, but yeah, that's what it is. Well, yeah, so yeah, it's in the PHB. Okay, sorry. Over the course of the next few minutes, you watch, and very slowly, the form of the dragon above you does start to dissipate.
I'm gonna fly up there before it does.
You fly up there. It gets
Yeah.
very, very hot the closer you get. There, you will not
How
avoid
physical is it?
how you could. It's like a cloud. You could fly into it, but doing so would be very inadvisable.
Adrex is staring at the eyes of this red dragon.
Okay, and they're smoldering, and I need you to make a charisma check.
Uh-oh.
Always with Adrex.
He's so
It
charismatic.
is a 20.
A 20?
A 20
Nice.
for a charisma check.
You hear a language in your head, staring into these eyes. First, you feel your body consumed in this brilliant fire. And you're like, oh, this is it. I'm melting. But then you hear this voice in your mind, and you've been under like mind control stuff before. You know how this works.
Few times.
And but this sensation is different. This isn't the sensation of like trying to keep your mind in control. This is more like something is challenging you, and you overpower it. And this language that you don't recognize, and this very metallic sounding hollow voice begins entreating you that it would hear your commands.
Do you know how to play the cello now?
And Raazu, as you're watching, for a moment it looks like the smoke and the heat are beginning to dissipate, but then it very quickly locks back into place, as brilliant as ever.
Raazu looks over toward Adrex. What's Adrex looking like right now?
Standing stoic, stock still, staring into this thing's burning eyes.
Raazu very cautiously approaches Adrex,
Okay.
taps him on the shoulder.
Adrex, what are your commands?
Don't answer.
Adrex is gonna learn how to become a full dragon.
Take us back to where we came from? He says out loud.
And there's suddenly a flurry of noise and movement over your head as this sleeping dragon, its neck snaps up, cranes around, and its great claws reach out and crash into the ground. You see it begin moving with great fury and speed. At first, just on its claws, and then it extends its wings and takes flight.
Raazu holds her
Darren flips
weapon
his
at the
sword
ready.
out.
Wendy's flipping backwards. Why can't they have a door?
Raazu does what?
Raazu holds her weapon at the ready.
Okay. Adrex, you are aware of great sound, of shock and alarm, as you're aware of many voices in Draconic around you, fading away into the distance as you take flight. And you feel the wind of the open air. And then you get the sensation of seeking a great mountainside, looking around you for miles and miles, and spying a particular place, a tiny hole. And it awaits your next commands.
A tiny hole? What?
Well, tiny from your perspective. You're a gargantuan red dragon.
Oh, okay. All right. This is neat. Let's go back.
And you rear back on your great wings and watch the rest of you watching the figure in the top of the dome of this room. See it soaring in great circles. Eventually come in for a landing. The claws and the wings fold back. And Adrex, you're aware of the feeling of stone in between your claws. And then eventually the feeling of gold and coins. And then the thing curls back up around itself.
This is fun. Can anyone hear Adrex? Is Adrex saying anything?
Nobody has noticed Adrex do anything. He's just standing stock still, staring into this thing's burning eyes, while Birdie's just beating on his shins with a stick.
Wait, what? I mean, if you think I'm doing
Adrex.
that, then I guess I am.
Adrex, what do you see?
Do I hear Raazu?
You do not. You hear the sounds of just people so far beneath your view that it's scarcely worth your time to listen to their voices.
All right. Since let's go in the hole here. Let's explore through where we originally came from.
So you're moving away from the dragon statue?
No, am I still connected to the
Yeah, if you're
dragon?
being entreated, what are your commands?
Yeah, let's go in the hole and see what.
And once again, there's a great flurry of activity in the dome as the dragon uncoils, stomps out, and takes flight. And moments later,
They see the dragon disappear, right?
they don't see him disappear. They see him making the motions
Okay,
that he would be doing out in space.
gotcha.
And again, you come up at this hole in the mountainside, tiny from your perspective, too small for you to fit into.
Okay.
And again, it entreats for your command.
How close to the hole can I get?
You can put your nose in it if you want.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's peek into it.
And the rest of you get this comical, just you can't see what the dragon's clinging to, but now it's almost vertical. Its great tail dangling down in the center of the room, and even Bitterl has to dive out of the way of it as it's clinging to something vertically and craning its neck around something in a very strange looking fashion. And you just see this dark hole that goes down deep into the mountain somewhere.
Let's dig at the hole.
With your
See what
claws?
happens. Yeah.
Okay. And you all see the movement and the flurry of claws. And then, very suddenly, Rolf and Student 9 appear. Rolf appears up here. Student 9 appears... this could get interesting. Adrex, you'd automatically fail your dex saving throw.
Yeah.
You are suddenly knocked prone as Student 9 appears in your space, directly on top of you.
Is my concentration with this
You
dragon broke?
I'll only make a concentration check. We'll call it DC 15. Make a con save.
Go ahead with con.
Yeah, con save.
Not good.
How'd we do?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
My Discord just hiccuped. Sorry.
Yeah, Discord. Yeah, Discord crapped out.
You guys got
So
real robot-y for a second. I'm like, I always wanted
Yeah, I
robot
did.
friends.
What do I add?
Hey!
What do I add to this check?
It's a con save.
It's a con save.
Yeah,
So
so whatever you're-
16.
16. And
Did you include the +4 for being next to Raazu?
20.
so for a moment you feel your concentration waver, but you manage to get to your feet. Patient Zero just kind of stands up and kind of dusts himself off and starts watching with great interest everything in the room. Rolf scrambles to his feet. The torch he was holding is clattered to the ground, just burning next to him. And he scrambles as quickly as he can through this grease to the center of the room. He looks like he's seeing death itself.
Raazu, when she sees that Student 9 is
Rolf, we'll
coming,
need
she
you to
looks
decide to come through.
What's Raazu do?
You okay? And Raazu goes over to see what's up with Rolf.
He says that he and Patient 9, or you guys have me saying it now, Student 9 decided that they would wait for you to reemerge unless something dangerous happened, and then they would take their chances following you through. And all
What
of a
happened?
sudden, the entire complex started shaking terribly, as
Raazu
though
looks
something
back-
had grabbed it.
Raazu looks back toward Adrex and the Kangjiao statue. I think that might have something to do with it.
And now Rolf is seeing the great dragon formed above him and Adrex with the statue. And he just looks mesmerized. This man has seen many wonders since he tried to kill you on a pirate ship.
It'll
I gotta
teach you.
say, trying to kill us on a pirate ship, take it to the good life.
Still, you regret us coming with us at all?
Adrex,
Oh,
I
he
did
says,
treat you
yeah.
for your next commands.
Tiny hole. And my digging at it is
No, I mean, you're tearing boulders away from the mountainside. You're a goddamn ancient red dragon.
all right.
Shouldn't a goddamn ancient red dragon have people to do the digging for him?
Apparently not.
Can I go to? Let's go to Kung Jiao's lair. Let's do that next.
Well, that's where that's where he started
That
in
is
his
where it
lair.
is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He started on his vast bed of gold.
Let's see Han Tao. That's the command.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you disembark from the side of the mountain and pull your neck out of the crevice leading to this tiny hole. Swoop back around to the entrance in your lair. Come to a landing in one of the great pillars in the middle of the stone bridges. And then in a booming voice, you summon Han Tao to you. And after a few moments, you become aware that Han Tao is in your presence. Nobody else has seen Adrex do anything. He got knocked over by Student 9 and immediately got back to his feet. And Student 9 is watching this incredibly intently.
Birdie is watching
Raazu's-
Student 9.
Yeah, Raazu is keeping an eye on Student 9 as well.
Okay. And what is Adrex's command?
Give me a minute. I need to think about this.
What's everybody else doing then? Just watching?
It is subtly dawned on Adrex and therefore myself, like what's going on here. So, all right.
You mean yourself and therefore Adrex?
No, I had it the right way.
I figure he got it right away and was playing up Adrex's half of it.
No. Like I said, it's only half a role play.
You weren't expecting to make a charisma check, I understand.
He wasn't expecting to pass one for sure.
Raazu calls out to Student 9, get away from him.
Student 9 looks at you, and for a moment you think he's going to protest. But then he doesn't. He just nods once and takes a few ginger steps away from Adrex and stands next to you.
Okay.
How long has Adrex been like this?
Several minutes. I mean, actually a little bit longer than that, maybe 10 or 15 minutes by this point, because we've had. Kong Javeth has time to leave and return again.
I could try going into his mind and seeing if I can get anything out of him that way.
Worth a shot.
Okay. Adrex, go ahead and make a DC.
Well, you're going in with detect thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Surface thoughts.
Oh yeah, surface thoughts don't require a DC. Yep.
It's
Mark off the
not
groups.
Adrex's mind, and it's not the dragon's mind. You don't know what it is. It is the most rigid, clock-like structure. It's like crawling inside of a machine. It's so alien, you're not even sure you could push further down into it.
Is there any connection between what I'm detecting and the way the dragon is moving in the dome?
Make an Arcana check at disadvantage.
Probably not. That's going to be a 5, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can't perceive any connection.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely feel a great sense of danger just being in here. And if you're at danger, Adrex almost certainly is.
That's this isn't Adrex's mind right now. I'm not really sure what it is, and I mean that by what it is, not even who it is. Birdie, prick his finger, do something that causes pain. Maybe that'll break it.
I nod, take my short sword, still in the sheath, and I swing it as hard as I can and hit Adrex in the nuts.
Okay.
Aw.
Roll damage.
Hi, Antao.
Is that all you say to him?
Yeah, that's what Adrex would say.
Okay.
So, that's 9, I guess, bludgeoning.
Okay, so that turns into a DC 9 concentration save he has to make.
But, well, I mean, I hit him in the balls.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that
did
should
9
at least get-
and did 9 points of damage.
That should be an instant crit, man.
All right,
Adrex is still going.
Adrex, could you do me a favor and make me a Constitution saving throw?
So, what are you up to, Hantel?
And you're aware of Hantao's response that he's...
And Adrex is stunned.
Adrex is stunned. You're aware of Hantao's response that he's responding to his Lord Father's summons, as requested, and then immediately you're shunted out. And now I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Alright.
Not enough time to get close to him. Sorry, Adrex.
That is a 13.
A 13. Saving throw.
Saving throw is still 13.
Still 13.
Yeah.
For a moment, you're overtaken, the mind of this red dragon that you just existed inside. Just this unbelievable, ancient avarice and malice. Just this heart of evil. And for a moment, you think it's going to overpower you, and you kind of stumble backwards, and your head is swimming, and by the time you push it away, you've just got a pounding headache. And the form above you, you see the thing's neck snap back and look around in great anger. And then it begins to slowly dissipate again.
Adrex, what are your surface thoughts? I think we got Adrex back.
Surface thoughts, this is his balls hurt.
Oh, Adrex, your balls absolutely hurt. And you have no idea why.
Balls hurt.
Birdie hit you.
Shh.
You were
Don't narc on me.
Adrex.
I
Birdie,
told you to
shut up.
prick his finger with a dagger.
No, Birdie's just a disgusting sadist. That's. But
Adrex
Raazu,
goes to say what happened. He sees Student 9 there and clamps shut.
Okay.
Like you guys.
What are your surface thoughts?
I was an ancient dragon. That was awesome.
You're not sure how awesome it was, because it was very... Let me
But
put it this
also-
way. You felt all of the things, all of the emotions and drive and greed that caused you to leave the lands of your sire to begin with.
That too.
But also awesome.
It was a little awesome.
But also incredible.
So I need to hurry up and level up so I can fly 20 feet around.
Same thing.
And the smoke and the plasma continue to dissipate. And after it does, the eyes of the dragon begin to dim. And then Rolf, you hear him shriek like a little girl and hop off the dais. As the light in the basin subsides and the light in the dragon's eyes subsides, the smooth dais suddenly becomes covered with this spirally pattern that looks identical to the teleportation wall that got you here.
Birdie hops down.
That's convenient.
So, Mr. 9, is this the room you were looking for?
And he still is kind of regarding everything that has happened here, and he said that this room contains wisdom and knowledge and magics beyond his wildest expectations.
Can I try a deception check to convey to Adrex that I can read his mind right now without letting
Adrex's next thought
Student
was...
9?
I mean, Adrex's next
Pick up on
thought
it?
was going to be... I was... What's his name? Kung Tao.
Kung Pao.
That's it.
King
That's what you
King
think.
You got it.
I was Kung Tao.
Listen, if you can't get Birdie
That's
right consistently,
wild.
there's a 0% chance you can get Kang Zhao.
Man, being a dragon's crazy. But I was actually that red dragon, and I was actually... This is like a mile a minute in Adrex's head.
You should flex and just become a red dragon.
I was talking to Han Tao. I could hear him, and I was there, and that was crazy, and I can't see any of it. And Adrex looks around nervously.
But yeah, Red, I mean, it's pretty clear what was
Yeah.
going on then, given that's what is in his head.
No, I'm trying to get Adrex to know that I am in his head right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll let you make that deception check. Make it at advantage, though, because you and Adrex know each other pretty well.
That's a 25.
Okay.
Raazu steps over toward Student 9 and is listening to his lecture.
Well, hold on. Student 9 gets an insight check against that first. He's not going to beat whatever that crazy high number was. I can't even count that high.
37.
Right. Who's up there? But yeah, Adrex, you get the subtle cue from Red, letting him know that he's inside. He can see what's in your mind.
Adrex gives a knowing nod. And just starts thinking of random numbers and hot elves.
Red, these are not the droids you're looking for. At this point, Rolf has kind of climbed back up to the dais and is seeing the spiral patterns. It's like, do we use it to go back? Do you think it's safe?
Raazu shrugs.
Adrex, what exactly happened when you were? How did you get that spiral to appear? Is it some sort of dragon thing that only someone who has the blood of a dragon could do?
I'm not quite sure, but that sounds right to me. Adrex gives a very obvious, wink. I think when I connected with that statue, I made the spiral appear.
Adrex,
nods,
make a deception
while.
check at disadvantage.
Can I give him? Can I give cover so that he can at least not have disadvantage on that? Can I aid another?
Yeah, we'll see if you can mop up after him. That's fine.
So still roll at disadvantage, or
No, just roll standard.
just regular standard? All right. Whoops. Stop it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Adrex rolling standard. Disadvantage for anyone else.
Plus deception is 8.
And Red, you become aware that why would we keep saying patient? Student 9 is taking great interest in your conversation now.
Mm-hmm.
And he begins asking Adrex questions along the lines of what happened and where did you go? Where did you find yourself?
And Adrex gets nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I
Raazu
don't
think,
quite know.
where's the Kobold here? Where's the Kobold here?
The Kobold's taken up position kind of at the center of the dais here. Or, I'm sorry, at the edge of the dais here.
You know,
Okay.
I've got a couple rounds left on this spell, and I'm pretty sure I can just read Student 9's thoughts without having to probe.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure I can spend a round and switch my concentration. Let me double check.
Because I've got some suspicions as to what was happening here. And I don't like what I'm thinking. But Raazu obviously does not want to voice these concerns in front of either Student 9 or the Kobold.
I love how you say the Kobold. You probably include Birdie in that as well. I don't want Birdie to know what the hell's going on here, and that can.
There's only one
Yeah,
Kobold.
I can switch it to something else with an intelligence score greater than 3,
Uh,
as long as I can speak a language.
Student 9's surface thoughts are a mixture of great excitement
Mm-hmm.
tinged with great anxiety. Not fear necessarily, but the anxiety of not knowing what comes next.
What about the Kobold?
The Kobold is feeling great grief at losing Huyan.
Okay, that's probably going to be it, because I
Okay.
only get a minute on that.
Student 9 looks back and forth between Adrex and Red for a moment, then back at Adrex and says, "If you desire it, I give you my word that I will not pass your answers along to Qiang Zhao or any of his magicians. But I must know where you went and what you've done."
You know, it's fleeting, like a dream, and I'm having trouble remember.
And he gives a knowing nod.
I was I felt outside of my body. What else was I doing? Nope. Can't remember.
Do you think it would work for me if I just messed with that claw just a little bit?
Like
I can't see it, so
Birdie's over here, like with the pick, trying to steal the black dragon's claws.
Okay. So, Birdie, you're messing with the black dragon's claws.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing happens.
No, I'm actually trying to steal the claws before we get out of here.
Oh, I understand, but you're not able to break the claws with the pick, despite Hans Hau's promises that it can break this obsidian material.
Ah!
Make an Arcana check.
That would be a great big old fat nope, because I rolled a 1.
You're just mad. You're like, I want claws, damn it.
Well, can I take the nameplate?
Yeah, you can pry the nameplate off, probably.
I'm gonna pry the nameplate off.
Okay.
got it.
Raazu is watching both the Kobold and Student 9, she's trying to get a sense of either of them, because one of these two people is holding something back, she feels.
Adrex was trying to hide information from Student 9, but he was literally winking at Red. So you're pretty sure Student 9 knows that Adrex has something to say and isn't saying it. The Kobold, it's mostly just exhaustion and maybe a little relief that the ordeal with the giant flaming dragon is now over. So what's next?
Well, let's try out this teleportation circle. As long as Student 9, did you get what you came here for?
He says now that the dangers of the compound or the complex are more or less dealt with, he's sure that with a small contingent of Qiang Zhao's guard, he should be able to come and go from the Spire as he pleases.
So Birdie points at the iron giant over here,
Mm-hmm.
and he asks Student 9 if he recognizes it.
He says, I don't recognize the creature, but I recognize its make. And he tells you the story of an ancient dwarven kingdom that was so vast and powerful. Far in the north, in these lands, many, many eons ago, that had the ability to breathe life into metal creations. Creatures that could subside on a burning furnace instead of a heart, that could stoke their own flames. And he tells this story, it sounds as though nobody knows what happened to this kingdom. It passed away into myth eons ago, but his research, he believes that their creations eventually rose up and destroyed them, or drove them into the Underdark.
So this device creature thing is 100% entirely unrelated to you.
He says that he and this creature are entirely unrelated, but only in the sense that you and this creature, and he motions back to Rolf, are also unrelated, if you take my meaning.
Birdie stares at him blankly.
To step out of character for a moment, Raazu's two suspicions right now are either Student 9 is trying to play us, and that he knows what this room is about, and he knows that he's able to do something with this red dragon, or Huyan figured out this place with her magical research and whatnot, and she was using this place to manipulate the dragon. That's what's going through Raazu's head right now, and she's trying to decide which one of these is the more likely.
Well, Huyan was bleeding to death, so
You ain't had access to the place.
And Rolf pipes up again. That's a no on using the teleportation to go back.
Oh, yeah. No, let's go back. Let's go back.
Is it fading or anything?
No.
Birdie hops on it and touches the center.
And Birdie vanishes.
Got me a
Hey,
nameplate.
well, Birdie's already gone. Hey, Adrex, if you show up on the other side of this whirly thing, touch that. Otherwise, I'll come through in about a minute. See if this works 2 ways.
All right. And Adrex is thinking number 32 because he is sure Red is still reading his thoughts. And Adrex touches the circle.
And as Adrex vanishes, you guys see some of the lines at the edges of the circle begin to disappear in towards the center. And seeing this, Rolf's eyes goes wide. He slaps his palm down the center as fast as he can, and he also vanishes.
Yep, have fun with your
gestures.
experiment, Red. Boop.
Raazu gestures for Student 9 to go back through.
And Student 9 nods, and he goes through as well.
Raazu looks
So,
at Red.
I'm pretty sure that what I got from Adrex is that he was controlling that dragon while he was doing that. The actual dragon, not the fire one. And this, well, both, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some very nice elves he's met, apparently, or at least as imagined. Maybe they're in that book. Don't remember any illustrations.
Raazu cocks her head at that.
You guys have a few more seconds left on the spiral.
Has Adrex appeared back through over here yet?
Yeah. He would have popped back in
Okay.
if it's 2-way.
It is. You end up on the other side of the wall as expected.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop back through.
And then Ajax is left here alone.
To
Adrex
play with
lives
his
here
new
now.
All
dragon.
right, Adrex. Is it still dissolving after Adrex returns?
Oh yeah, it's dissolving very quickly.
All right, well, let's go, Adrex.
Oh god, it's disappearing really quick.
And you arrive back in the Spire. And that's where we'll leave it for this week. Let's just get an answer to a few quick questions first, though.
Some quick questions.
Quick questions. What is your plan? What do you intend to do with Bitterin the Kobold? You know that he is a traitor to the Lord Master, but he's the only survivor of this party that has gone in.
Like,
I guess the first question is are you intending to go back to Qiangzhou at this point?
Well, I think we got to go back to Montao, don't we?
When that's where Hontao is.
Yeah.
so question: what did the Kobold do that betray the Lord Master?
He told the story about how Huyan was going to use the power in this spire. She had figured out a way to break free of his control and possibly transform herself into a red dragon.
But that ship has sailed at this point.
No, that's not going to happen now because she's very dead. But
Yeah,
he's...
So, as far as Wendy's concerned, that's the end of it. Like, Huyan had this plan. The plan didn't work out. Huyan's dead now. But Wendy doesn't see any reason to rat out this kobold.
But here's the thing, though: the Kobold knows and could come back here and do this thing.
I don't care. The kobold can do what it likes.
But do you really want a vindictive or whoever it is to manipulate a red dragon to fly around and nuke?
Do you really think?
It can't get there if we put the plate back on the door and lock it up.
That's my second question, is what do you intend to do with this ring of keys?
We are keeping the ring of keys.
Are you keeping them secret?
Yes. 'Cause
Okay.
We need to lock back up that plated door.
No problem. So we come back next week. You guys can walk right in and lie to a red dragon's face.
Well,
Listen,
Adrex-
Adrex was able to mentally overpower it. I like our chances.
That was a miraculous charisma roll, by the way.
I vote
Yeah,
that Red lies to the Red Dragon.
Yeah, that might be the best course of action.
you were expecting to take over Adrex. Little did you know. Adrex
I
has
do,
Delta
think
Brain.
I do think that we do need to go on another hunting trip with Hontao, though. That is very important.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so we'll call it there for the night. You guys start thinking about your blips. I'm gonna go dog one more time and add up some experience, and I'll see you in a couple minutes.
He's dogging.
Did you say
Who
dog
is-
instead of dark? Really?
No, he meant he's gonna go dog.
Yeah.
Dog is a verb.
I know. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go for Birdie for creative.
For trying to splash out the
Yeah.
golem. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
definitely. And who furthered the party's goals today? Did I
Adrex.
say Adrex because
Yeah.
for rocking that charisma check to give us a few answers and like 100 more questions.
He dominated an ancient red dragon.
Yeah, that happened.
I like the idea that he just got caught in Adrex's pace and couldn't get out.
And then so who's a badass today?
Let's see.
I stunned that golem twice.
You
Yeah,
did.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I'm totally down for that. Then, who's
And then you
intangible
stunned
today?
Adrex.
And then I stunned the agent.
Oh yeah. So
Which means by transitive property, I stunned an ancient red dragon.
eventually, like Adrex was just gonna go through like all of like the other characters we've met. Like next was Griagro. Like he was gonna go fly to Griagro. He's like, "Hey Griagro, I'm a dragon right now." But we didn't get that far, so. And then fly to the Moakton village.
I do think that would.
How
I
you
do
guys
think that
doing?
we would be down there for a while. I don't think it would have stuck for that long. Sue's intangible today. Because
Red for trying to cover Red's horrible lying skills.
I mean, Adrex.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a bad judgment call. It's like, hey, let's let Adrex in on this little secret.
yeah. All right. So it's up to Raazu to fight for her blips.
Notifications.
I'm upset I didn't get those dragon claws.
So, Peter and I are only like just barely adults, so we don't tend to like keep our laundry organized. Like a pile of laundry just kind of amasses in one in every room of the house, kind of.
Sure.
When we started playing D&D today, all the little piles of laundry were in their place. And I went just out now to check on Edgar and to let Riddy out of the room. And all of the socks from those piles have somehow managed to end up on Riddy's bed in the living room.
Yeah, I gotta have a sock dog.
Yeah, that's the thing.
How could that have happened?
I don't know. It's a mystery. She looked in the eyes of a dragon statue and then lost 2 hours.
She looked in the eyes of a sock.
Riddy is a tiny dragon that hoards socks.
All right, let's give out some experience and stuff. Who wants to do their traits first?
I'll go.
Okay.
For my flaw, how does this work? Tapping on that center point, just as everyone's about to leave, just be like, no, I need to know. I need to know what's going on here.
Okay.
For use what you have available, playing around with the magic torch in the silent chamber of darkness and figuring out a way to let everyone be able to see in there.
Okay.
And finally, good is helping others. For the first phase of that fight, rather than protecting myself, writing my action to protect Huyan.
Okay. Who else got some?
Do we need a straw poll?
I posted a straw poll link in the chat.
I didn't get it. Didn't see it. That's fine.
Adrex will go.
Okay.
Adrex will go.
Aspect, signature style, energetic. He followed right into that portal, even though he was very much injured.
I was
And
flabbergasted you guys
to
didn't
that.
take a short rest after that ghost fight.
Yeah, that's the
The-
thing we totally should have done.
The clockwork Myrmidon fight was balanced so you guys would get your shit pushed in by the ghosts and then take a short rest and get your hit points back and go in with the Myrmidons, but
No, we're pretty crazy like that.
yeah, no.
Flaws, that sounds like a great idea. Hey, Adrex, why don't you come use your strength to twirl this post? Got it, on it, totally without even thinking, without any caution that this might be bad. And adrex.livejournal.com, which is
Oh, I
You
haven't
haven't
read
read
it.
it?
I haven't read it yet.
which is a really hilarious entry after the events that have transpired today.
Okay.
Man, it's a good thing it's not a Tumblr. You'd be gone.
Who else got some?
Birdie will go. So my ideal, the accumulation of magical knowledge, is something that makes me most useful to my tribe and is my ultimate path to pleasing my patron. I was trying to get some of the obviously magical statue bits, and I was denied, so I stole a plaque instead. It's a consolation
I mean,
prize.
you have a large, like 2-foot long obsidian rod.
Oh right. I
I mean,
didn't
you
pick
don't
that
have
up.
it. Somebody has
I didn't
it.
pick that up. Bonds focus on the little things. Make my tribe stronger any way they can. I focused on the fact that the giant clockwork men spit fire out, so I used the stuff I had to put it out.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
And
What's funny to me is basically Windy kept stunning it, and it wouldn't have mattered because it was going to be stunned until it could reignite itself anyway.
so, but that's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Raazu or Red? One of you?
Red has for his flaw, it's often best just to do what needs to be done. Explaining it to the others would be a waste of time for jumping through the portal after Windy vanished without knowing what was going to happen.
Okay.
That's it.
And Raazu?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to finalize my thoughts on these. I'm sorry.
Okay.
For the alignment, good and evil are subjective distinctions. What matters is keeping to your own ethics. Raazu has the ability to remove diseases. And
Mhm.
she spent 5 points of her poultices, and she very pointedly did not do that. After Birdie tried to just straight up heal her,
Mm-hmm.
because there's still a lot of bad blood between her and Huyan.
Oh.
Well, not anymore because Huyan's dead.
Oh, yeah, no, she's very
Yeah.
dead.
So
Yeah.
what are Razu's ethics? Because I never hear this come around the other way. Like, Raazu did this nice thing to keep your own ethics.
She's very much a hobgoblin. What else you got?
Her bond, a sword arm, is only the beginning of the greater world, but is a necessary first step for sounding the command to start taking out the other. Once the thing exploded in her face, she's like, "Okay, yeah, no, we're not doing this again." So we're taking this other one out at range, even if it hasn't fully reignited yet. There's no guarantee that it will or won't. So she called for that.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
We give one blip for the most creative solution to a problem in a session.
Birdie
What did Birdie do?
for splooshin' the splooshy thing.
Okay, that's probably a Scrabble word.
Firefighter Birdie.
Who furthered the party's goals the most this session?
Adrex for killing that charisma check to mind control a red dragon.
Okay.
And giving us a lot of answers to a lot of questions, and then creating more questions on top of that.
And who was the badass?
Windy for chain stunning the hell out of that Myrmidon.
I mean,
Even though you just told us it didn't
yeah,
matter.
well, the first one did because he wasn't doused yet. But yeah, if you extinguish the flame, they're stunned until they can recharge on a 5 or a 6, and I rolled a 2, I think.
Yeah. The other one is, I think Nodal said, by stunning Adrex out of the out of the mind control thing by proxy, stunning an ancient red dragon.
We give one for intangibles.
That was red for just trusting Adrex for involving Adrex in the deception. God bless his heart. God bless him.
And our straw poll this week goes to Adrex. I can't imagine why.
I was
No
telling
idea.
these guys the longer that went on, Adrex was just gonna start visiting all of the places and people he's been to, and just being like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
So Raazu, I've got 2 blips for you this week.
Okay, how much are blips?
700. I got 4 for Windy. 5 for Adrex. 4 for Birdie. And 2 for Red. Plus... I closed calc.exe. That was dumb.
Good job.
620 experience for
Shadow Boy.
the Death Wisp and its tendrils. Plus 460 for the 2 Myrmidons. For a total of 1,080 experience for combat this week. Adrex, these tendrils, and the tendrils mainly, because they don't have an intelligence stat, but they had in their stat block that they will always attack the lowest HP creature within their reach. I don't know if you know how close you came tonight. You were real close.
I am well aware.
Yeah. I got to roll all 4 attacks against you, and
I am grateful Adrex is not dead.
Hand grenades and horseshoes.
No,
then he
Windy
wouldn't
has the
have been
hand
able to
grenades.
control an ancient or beat an ancient red dragon. So
Cross that one off the bucket list.
I wonder what would have happened if you had failed that second charisma saving throw as you got out.
If Windy ever uses that fire jelly for the intended combat action, I will feel like a failure.
Are you going to cook with it? Is that what you're going? No.
if he wasn't, he is now.
Shit.
Okay, so next week is the 23rd, and I'm pretty sure nobody's doing anything that night. We get to play D&D next Sunday, correct?
Yeah, I should be good.
Okay,
I'm good.
nobody's traveling on the 23rd, and then the following... Oh, we didn't know about the following Sunday just yet, and that's fine. Okay.
I probably still am not. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be here that Sunday.
I'm not going to be here either.
Okay. Then we will be playing next Sunday, but not the following Sunday. So the closest game to Christmas will be on, but the closest game to New Year's we will not.
Okay.
And we'll get back to
sounds
this
good.
idiotic dragon nonsense. You guys had Dungeons and Dragons this week. What more could you ask for?
We did.
Oh shit!